There's also this guy, Ledra, hiding in this corner here. I mean, he's really hiding.
Commander, I was told to make my supplies available to you if you wish.
Okay, sounds like you're a merchant of some variety. Can we talk to you a little bit more as your name, Ledra? I mean, I don't know why that's of particular significance. You do appear to be a Solarian, whereas it seems as though perhaps everyone else in the colony is human.
What's your name, Solarian?
My full name is Goratu Heranon Maldinest God Inost Ledra. Humans usually employ surname and given name only. Inost and Ledra in my case.
Okay. Long enough? That's kind of impressive. It's not really our place to make comments about Solarian culture and naming customs, but other than that, let's see. What about just learning more about you? It seems like they do, at the very least, have a decent set of skills across all the people at the colony. You know, they have some working on power, some working on the water, some working on the food, some working on just general goods distribution, and what have you. I mean, that's important. Get all that stuff up and running, but,
What's a
tell us more.
Solarian doing on a human colony?
This Solarian goes where the credits are. Or I did. A well-stocked freighter can be a profitable investment on a new colony. But once I was here, I decided to stay on. The colony life grows on you after a while.
Does it? Now. Does it? Interesting choice of words. Okay. Other than that, I suppose we can ask a little bit about your stock in the colony. Let's start with the stock, maybe. Of
How
course,
do you
we'll
keep things in
end up
stock
seeing
in
this,
conditions
but
like this?
My list of consumers has shrunk significantly since the attacks, and few of those have time for shopping.
okay, well, maybe that means we'll be one of your few customers in this situation. And then, can you tell us at all about the colony? Because it seems as if everyone has been very keen on dodging this question thus far.
What can you tell me about Zoo's Hope?
A fascinating place by all accounts, though the Geth have made it treacherous. You
Okay.
might like it here too if you gave it a chance, Commander. I never thought I'd stay in one place for long, but here, I will stay here.
That was kind of weird. The way you said the intonation of that last part. I will stay here. Sounded almost robotic. Why?
This place is barely holding together. Why stay here?
I can't give you an answer to that, Commander. At least not one that you would comprehend. Why not try asking
Also,
Spygate?
very weird phrasing.
Maybe he can tell you what I can't.
Very strange. Okay, let's just get straight to business then. What do you have for sale,
Let me
buddy?
see what you have.
Of course. I may be able to provide a few interesting items.
I certainly hope so. Let's see. So, does have a Tornado 10. So, I mean, that is a high level. Although, if we're comparing that to what we currently have, I mean, it is technically better than either our shotgun or the Yara shotgun, though I imagine that's largely because we haven't really prioritized doing that with either of us because we aren't trained on the shotguns. We probably have some weaker ones lying, or some ones that are better than what we currently have equipped lying around in our inventory that we could theoretically throw on. So that might be worth doing in case of a pinch, because we have actually seen already fairly early on that our opponents, the Geth in particular, are capable of overheating some of our weapons, and with us and with Liara, when we're only trained on one weapon, we're gonna have to switch over to something else, and that is kind of tough. So it would be nice to at least have something to switch over to that's decent from a statistical standpoint, and that might mean throwing on some better shotguns. But other than that, you do have, it seems like just level 10 of shotgun, assault rifle, pistol. I don't think any of these are going to be super good in terms of the rarity, it's just they're high level. But if we go further down the list, we see Haliat Armory license. This is another license to, of course, unlock additional types of gear when it comes to the Alliance Requisition Officer in the Normandy and the CSEC guy back on the Citadel. The Haliat Armory, though, it's one of sort of the middle-of-the-road ones. I think that's what we're seeing here, is that all the sigil, or the sort of icon you're seeing here, the logo, is Haliat. So, thematically consistent, although I'm not really sure that it is good enough to warrant picking up the license, because, I mean, we're never really going to prioritize getting this type of gear. It's more so just a case of, if we are totally desperate and we don't have what we need already in our inventory, then in a pinch, we might want to buy this type of stuff. But like I was just saying, I think for the most part, We probably do already have things lying around collecting dust that are better than what we're seeing here. So I think we're probably fine in that sense. Let's just poke our head around here a little bit, see what else is going on in the colony, and it looks like it's more or less just an empty walkway area of sorts, and, you know, just the occasional fire strewn about here and there. Nothing too big. Just, you know, don't make a big deal about it. It's, you know, we just, you know, we roast marshmallows here every Thursday, 7 p.m. And then this is also another walkway of sorts out here, and this leads us back over to where Fidan is. So yeah, you know, just get a better sense of what the layout of the colony itself is. But it looks like, for the most part, we've now made the door on that building go crazy, but also pretty much explored the colony in its entirety, or at least this part where the people are currently settled in. If we look at our map again, we'll see we have an elevator here and an elevator, or stairs, down to the tunnels. So actually, this is probably the place where we want to go, because as we were just saying, it sounds like more or less everything that we are looking to do here, at least from a side quest to help support the colony standpoint, is down in this tunnel area. So that's looking like that's next on our list in that case. But as we were just saying recently, given how we don't have very many people who are highly trained on a variety of weapons, we are perhaps particularly susceptible with this current team here to our weapons getting overheated, because then, you know, with our pistol being the only weapon that we're trained on, same story with Liara, suddenly, you know, we're stuck switching over to a low-level shotgun that we're not trained with, and that's a pretty significant downgrade. So I think we might as well throw something on here. Yeah, in fact, we already have Armageddon 10, which is definitely better than a Tornado 10, I would think, because this is a higher rarity. So that might be worth going for. Avalanche, also decent in terms of what we would prefer when it comes to putting those shotguns on people who are not actually trained with shotguns. Do we prioritize damage? Do we prioritize heatsink? Do we prioritize accuracy? We are not going to be as accurate with them because, again, that is the two primary things that you're getting from training the weapons is damage and accuracy. The heatsink capacity, that is usually, if not always, unchanged by everything other than just the weapon upgrades. And so that is not a factor when it comes to having it on an untrained person. Again, different in Legendary Edition relative to the original Mass Effect, because in the original Mass Effect, if you were untrained with a weapon, you flat out could not even zoom in with a weapon. So that meant that sniper rifles in particular were just completely useless. The only thing you could do if you were untrained with them was no scope, and good luck with that. Shotguns, I mean, theoretically, you could try using them without zooming in. You just wouldn't have them be quite as reliable. Maybe the assault rifles, you can make that work as well. But since we can, at the very least, in Legendary Edition, zoom in, it's not the end of the world if we have to use them, but we might as well at least make them a little bit better in this situation. So I mean, probably like to save our best shotguns for people like Rex, Ashley, you know, those who are actually trained with the shotguns, who actually would benefit significantly from having a really strong one. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, these Avalanche 9s might be a good sort of middle ground here. Higher damage than what we currently have equipped, higher heatsink capacity, higher accuracy, at least in the case of Liara, and then in the case of us, same thing. In fact, Liara's weapon might have been a little bit better than ours was. We did even put on a few upgrades on ours. No, we did not put on high explosive rounds. We had hammerhead rounds, which is not a terrible idea. Again, the weapons force does mean easier to knock enemies down, giving us some more crowd control, which in this area in particular, as we've already sort of started to see, I think the primary danger is there's a lot of enemies. And so they may not be the strongest of enemies, but we can get outnumbered easily, so being able to knock them on the ground or knock them away from us to just give ourselves a little bit more time to take care of them all, that is probably quite useful. So something like hammerhead rounds, not a bad idea in that sense. Then weapon stability, I mean, again, bear in mind that we don't have as much training on, or any training on this weapon, so we have less accuracy with less damage. So that might mean that actually going something like combat optics here, just to get a little bit more accuracy, would even be worth doing. The heat damping, I'm skeptical about this. I feel like since we're theoretically probably not using this weapon for very long, it's mostly just for short little spurts when our pistol gets overheated. I don't think heat damping is going to be a big factor for what is a secondary weapon that we're not going to use much. So I think we might prioritize the accuracy here, actually. One of the few times when combat optics perhaps is best. Did we take explosive rounds? It keeps on trying to put us in that direction. No, I think we do still have Hammerhead. And I think we go. Second round of combat optics. Of course, the detection doesn't do us any good here. You know, that's not additive. Having a level 9 detection in the previous slot and level 8 here doesn't mean that we get those added together to level 17. At least I'm pretty sure that's not the case. The only reason why we're doing this is to just increase the max accuracy. In fact, might even be worth looking further down here to see if any really low level, yeah, like improved sighting just gives us 7% max accuracy. I was wondering if maybe the pure accuracy upgrades, even if they were lower level, might still be more than what we're getting from the combat optics, but as we just saw, that is not the case. Combat optics, if we are trying to maximize accuracy, is still the right answer. So I think we go that route, again, largely because we don't have very good accuracy on this weapon since we are untrained with it. So this is sort of a way to make up for that. Damage is, of course, not going to be that good because we don't have any training with it, but hopefully, if we are using it, we don't need to use it for that long. Then with Liara, I think probably similar story here. Let's see what we can do. We could give her high explosive rounds. The reason why I'd be a little bit reluctant to do that is because although she may not need to use this weapon for that long, the reason why she's using it is because her pistol would theoretically get overheated by some kind of opponent, and so she's going to need to switch over to something else. And if the first time she fires that weapon, it overheats, then suddenly she has two weapons that are overheated, and then, you know, it starts to get trickier. She keeps on switching weapons, and, you know, she's spending a lot of time pulling out a new weapon and not a lot of time actually shooting people. So for that reason, I'm a little reluctant to go this route, although, of course, it does mean that the few shots that she does get out would naturally be quite a bit more effective. So maybe you could justify it for that reason. Also bearing in mind that Liara, as well as us, we do have a lot of other abilities that are not weapons related, so don't need to strictly rely on our weapons to get the job done. You know, alternatively, we go Inferno rounds for damage, Snowblind round for a little bit of damage and reducing our enemy's rate of fire. I mean, this also reduces their accuracy. It's tempting. It is tempting. Maybe we do it. Maybe we do it. I don't think it's a very good idea, but I'm going to give in to the temptation, I think. And we'll see what we can do to reduce the amount of heat that she gets out of it, in case there's any chance that she can actually fire two weapons, or two shots before it overheats. Let's see. So, in theory, the base stat is that she can fire this for 9 seconds before it overheats. So, if she is getting, hold on, 500% heat generation, in theory, ooh, that's almost at the point where she can shoot twice per second before it overheats. It's close. And that heat damping and heat absorption may just barely be enough, but I'm not sure. That would take a little bit more mental math capability than I'm capable of doing on the fly here. So, it might be enough. I'm not entirely sure. If we happen to have someone else who's holding on to a better heat sink or frictionless materials upgrade, then it might be worth giving that over to Liara so that she can actually do that. And at that point, I think we could say more definitively that, yeah, she probably can fire a couple of shots before it'll overheat. But, that would be a pretty big difference. You know, actually being able to shoot twice before it overheats and the weapon becomes useless for several seconds, because, again, she's down a pistol, and she shoots once and she's down a shotgun, then suddenly she has to switch over to the assault rifle, and, well, not the end of the world, but we would definitely want something other than a level 1 Lancer. Suppose we can, in case something similar happens, switch over our assault rifle as well, and we'll just throw something quickly on here, I suppose. Sure. Inferno rounds, and again, we'll go with a little bit of accuracy just because we're kind of desperate for it in this case with an untrained weapon. And I suppose stability is relevant for an assault rifle since you're holding down the firing button for a while there. That is something that you may need to have more stability on so that you don't have ridiculous accuracy by the time you're done shooting it. And similar story here with Liara, I think. And that should do. Okay. So, why don't we save here before we head down? Then let's just verify. So yeah, we're going through here, and we're not going to go down the first one. I think the elevator probably takes us up, whereas the stairs down to the tunnels definitely takes us down into the tunnels. So I think this is the place where the main quest would take us, or where we would go to do the main quest, whereas this is the place where we would go to do the side quests. And again, definitely, I think, want to prioritize the side quests first here. They are of particular importance in this area. And I think we do need to go up before we go down. So, hold on just a second. Let's, throw our weapons just in case. And it's a little tricky because you can hear the conflict happening in the background. So occasionally you hear what sound like weapon sound effects. And so you wonder, like, oh, what's that? Is that a gap right around the corner here? But, based on our map, I don't think so. I think that is truthfully just background noise. So this would be, yeah, the elevator to the Prothean Skyway. So this is the way to the main quest. But I think we're deliberately going to carry on beyond that. See what we'll do from a side quest standpoint. And now we'll get to the stairs that lead us down to where the side quest should be. It's also, after doing all those weapon shenanigans, let's make sure, yeah. Still prefer pistol for Liara, pistol for us, shotgun for Tali. That makes sense. But we're expecting some Geth. We're expecting some other infrastructure problems around here that we'll need to sort out. There are no signs of the Geth yet.
Oh god, they're everywhere.
Except they're everywhere, apparently. Suddenly they are everywhere. We have a stalker, we have a trooper, we have a recon drone, and I can't tell. I think this is just Tali maybe having used an ability that detonated right on top of us, or it could even be one of our opponents doing that to us. I think top priority is probably to do something to incapacitate this Geth stalker. Okay, then that's down. Do we still have the combat drone? I was thinking that might be next. It seems like, for the most part, those are pretty weak. You can take them out pretty quickly. In fact, might have already done so. I think it's just you. Oh, you're flying right now. From the singularity. Is everybody dead? In theory, yes. Liara, are you okay? I think the answer is almost certainly no, but let's get moving. Out of curiosity, we did get some equipment out of that. Got a kinetic exoskeleton and tungsten rounds, which does give us pure damage against synthetics, which, you know, could be worth doing. We're talking about just trying to get some damage out of the assault rifles. Maybe we throw those on real quick. Got Shredder Tungsten. Assuming that we're going to run into primarily, if not exclusively, Geth. Then Liara, I think, again, not that likely that we'll end up having people use, or these people specifically, using their assault rifles, but just in case. Just in case. I think it is particularly likely against the Geth because it seems like they're the ones that are most capable of overloading our weapons. If we do run into any organic enemies, maybe they won't have those abilities, and therefore maybe we won't need to switch over to our assault rifles in that situation anyway. So hence, the tungsten rounds. Okay, it's looking like this is the way through. Did we... Is there any sign of that lady who was crying for help down here? Because it doesn't look like it. Seems like she just kind of ceased to exist after that cry for help. So that's a good sign. At least we know what we're getting ourselves into in that case. And as we get down here, let's see if we have an updated map at all. We do. We do. So, that's the Geth transmitter, which is in theory what we're looking to do to take out the Geth in the tunnels, which was the thing that Phi Dan was telling us to do. We're also looking for the water, the power cells, and the Varen. Those are all the things that we'd like to resolve down here, and in theory, we may be able to do all that. But let's see. I don't like how open this area is. Would make us very susceptible to enemy fire, and we can now see at least one red triangle, or I started to see one, yeah, on the edge of our map. Looks like it's far enough away that we can maybe make a rush for the other side. But But as soon as we do, I think we're gonna have some friends. Yeah, are they through here? Can we... That's just a little tiny side area. For a second I thought that was gonna take us into a separate room. Which I think is what happens here. For a second I thought that smoke was like Geth moving. No, but I think they're not far away. In fact... We hit one of them in the foot or something? No, I don't think so. Alright. Let's send in... I think we've designated Tally as our sacrificial lamb in this team. So here they are. Let's see. We have a Geth Trooper. That's all we can tell at the moment, although in theory there's at least a couple more enemies here. Why don't we stasis you? Oh, there's... Yup. Four of them behind. And remember, our friends will not shoot the enemies that are in stasis. Oh, people not dead. They are still trying to shoot one of them. I think we did eventually take it out. I think it flew so high that this sort of beam was stopping us from hitting them with the weapons. Alright, all targets eliminated, you say. Is there anything in here? There's a water valve, in fact. So, we heard that we needed to activate all the water valves.
This valve looks like part of a large system. There are likely others we need to activate as well.
Exactly, but there are others and we'll need to find along the way. Just ignore that. And in fact, here's another one of them, so that's a good sign. Will you quiet down?
The system has not yet activated. I do not believe we are finished yet. We should look for another valve.
Okay, so in theory we have several of them, but not all of them yet. And here's sort of the other side. And if we look at our map here, we can see that explains this whole zigzagging system here. So presumably that means anytime we see these side areas, that's probably in one of those almost like vent-ish areas. And these are sort of the more main pathways. Though, interestingly enough, looks like we'll have a fork in the road here where we can go either to a collapsed highway section. Not sure what that's all about. That's a symbol for an elevator of some variety. So we could go there. We could go to the right for the Geth transmitter, or we could go straight ahead for who knows what. So take your pick. That's the way to the elevator. That's the way to the transmitter. Why don't we go for maybe the transmitter first, I suppose? Oh, and we have friends. And I was gonna say, I thought I saw some up there. And that's kind of a nasty place for them to have snipers. They have the high ground. So we've already lost. Is what I have, what I've learned here. Tried to stasis one of them. I think we did succeed. The other one, we may have had the door protect us just enough. Why don't we also have Liara Singularity here, if we can? And I think we have succeeded in doing just that. So one of them down. Let's get the other one that's in stasis. Whoa, hello, shock trooper that I did not even realize was there, but fortunately did also get affected by Singularity. Let's throw you for a nice lift plus throw combo. Now you're down, and in theory there is still one other red triangle here. Unclear as to where exactly it is. Is it up there? Is it down here? In fact, there's another one as well. Is it moving? It is moving. Oh, it's up here. Oh, it's a drone. Okay. Okay, can we say this is a drone? I think we can. Yeah. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure that was strictly necessary, but at least for science, we now know for certain. And I think that did say that our inventory got updated, but I don't think that's strictly necessary for us to check that right now. We have at least a couple more Geth here. It might be right around this corner. That they are. We have... Oh! No, that's not a Geth. That is definitely not a Geth. That says Krogan Warrior. That is a totally different situation. Okay. Speaking of stasis, this seems like a situation in which you might want to stasis them. Otherwise, they're going to rush us down, and that's going to be a problem. Let's lift you. Now, let's take you out. Oh, there's another one. Let's Singularity you. And take out as many of them as we can. Including this one in stasis. One of them, that one that fell down, I think is currently not dead yet. It just got knocked down, and you saw the Krogan regeneration kicking in, and it is crazy powerful. So what if we stasis you again? Because that is the benefit of having a ton of stasis power, and now you are dead. Okay, so I believe, by the looks of things, that may be the last of them. Take a look around, and here's an upgrade kit, I'm sure. Got Sledgehammer 10. That could be very helpful, as we were just saying. Having some weapons force upgrades on hand is great for incapacitating foes, and I think that's actually what happened to that Krogan warlord was we stasis them, then someone with the sledgehammer rounds or something similar knocked them onto the ground, and that meant that they were sort of hiding behind this cover, and we actually couldn't get rid of them for that reason. So it actually works against us that time, but for the most part I think that is going to be beneficial. So let's maybe throw that on. Oh, we also got a level 9 sniper. I mean, it's not super relevant for our team here. I think when it comes to weapons that we are not trained on, sniper probably going to be the one that we are at least looking to use in case our other ones get overheated. But in terms of sledgehammer rounds, what were we? We were trying to put those on our shotguns for the most part. And so the RR we put the high explosive rounds. Tally, I think, does have, what, sledgehammer 8? It actually doesn't tell us, statistically speaking, what the difference is between level 8 and level 10. Presumably, level 10 either has more damage or just has more force. I think we probably do prioritize giving the better stuff to Tally because she's going to have the shotgun as her primary weapon, whereas for us, it's our secondary. So that means the better ammo is getting used more often if we give it to her. Then let's go with the sledgehammer rounds that she just had. Put those on us. Do have more. We could put those on the R as well if we really wanted to. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try rolling with the whole high explosive rounds. Okay, so this looks like our transmitter tower. We also have another technician kit here. That has combat exoskeleton 9 and energized plating. But I'm thinking by the looks of things, this transmitter is something that quite simply we are looking. Excuse me? Excuse me? Does this work? No? Fine. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Boom. It does kind of look like it still has a sliver of health, but I'm pretty sure it's dead. I'm pretty sure it is now dead. And in fact, if we look at our journal, then maybe we can get confirmed. Geth in the tunnels. You have cleared the Geth from the tower. There are still Geth in the tunnels. Finding and destroying the Geth transmitter will give Zoo's Hope a better chance of survival. Tell Fidan that you have destroyed the Geth transmitter. Okay, so now this is an interesting question. I was saying earlier how you technically don't need to talk to the people who give you these quests in order to do them. You could theoretically have just gone straight down into the tunnels and destroyed that Geth transmitter, and then you would have completed it. However, I do think that you still need to make sure that you go back and inform the people for it to officially count. So although we've done the hard part, of course, actually fighting the Geth and the Krogan and destroying the actual transmitter, it doesn't count unless and until we inform Fidan here. So that is still crucially important that we do that. So let's make sure we don't forget about that. But I think we still have other things down here that we can do first. As we were saying, we had reason to believe that there were other of those side quests in this area. I mean, we got 2 of those water valves, but we suspect there may be more where those came from. Okay, I was saying before, I don't love this area right here. It's a little too open. Then we can go either straight ahead, which should take us to the collapsed highway section, or we can go further in this direction and maybe more water valves, based on how it seemed like that was where we ran into the other ones before. So why don't we... I think maybe we stick with this area here, and then we'll finish with the collapsed highway section. Let's head over in that general area over there, which means we'll be going this way. And yeah, last time we popped into one of these little side areas, we did run into several Geth. Seems like that'll be the same situation here. Can we even... It's like a human person over there. That's maybe a good sign, but Tally, care to do the honors? Tally, care to do the honors? Tally. Liara, can you, like, just get out of the way real quick? Tally, care to do the honors? Go. Go. Wrong way. Do it. Do it. Yes, I know we're sacrificing you. She is really reluctant. There we go. Now we have the guest's attention. It looks like they might have a little more firepower this time. Can we actually get them to come out of here? It looks like there's one that's moving. The others are staying stagnant. Let's see. Will you actually come out far enough? It doesn't seem like it. Okay. Well. Oh, there's a Geth Destroyer in here. That's a problem. That's pretty strong. Let's Singularity that, if possible. That may have been our issue here. And quickly blow through that. Oh, that Destroyer is still up and running. That makes me a little nervous here. Let's freeze it with the stasis. And then shoot you in the face. Okay, so that's down. We have a Shock Trooper further back. Maybe we use something like Sabotage on you so you can't shoot us right now. And there's this guy as well. Oh, that's a sniper. Okay, no, that's more of a concern, sabotaging you. Otherwise, that guy can snipe us and do a lot of damage in the process. Okay, that may be the last of them, though, by the looks of things. In which case, let's take a second here, look around, see if there might be any more of those water valves, which, in fact, there is. And that appears as though, based on that sound effect, that may have been the last one.
That did it. The system is active.
Okay, awesome. So, just to confirm, water restoration, you've restored water to Zoo's Hope. Someone back in the colony will likely want to hear about this. So, again, this would be the first time hearing about it if you had not talked to them preemptively, but we know that Maka Doyle is the person in question, and again, I do believe that you technically do need to talk to her in order for this to get confirmed that you have completed it.